Alright, so Fede and I are playing the 2 out of 3 here. I think he's getting his recording set up himself. Sunday morning, actually noon on Sunday. I just couldn't sleep. I work overnights for anybody else who's paying attention here. Um, and I got about 2.5, 3 hours sleep, and for whatever reason, I woke up here. Uh, by the way, when I use the word standard, I'm always referring to myself here. Uh, that's a pretty decent flop for us. Any of you who've not watched Fede play, he is a professional tanker. Um, so he is going to use that time bank a lot. Question is, what am I folding out? I don't think there's really any reason to bet here. Of course, I'm not going away either. Perhaps if he checks it, see. I am curious though whether or not that should have been check raise there. At this point, I think it's a fair assumption. I don't think. Interesting hand right off the bat here. I think that we're beating absolutely nothing. The only thing we're beating at this point is air. Um, Josh, when you watch this, long time no speak, Josh. Um, yeah, you're probably gonna give me fucking shit for not check raising the turn or leading the turn. Just it didn't make any sense to me to lead the turn there. Um, I'm you know I'm not folding out anything that's beating me, and you know I think I'm just kind of burning money uh, to every hand that is beating me. Like I said, I don't think I can get an ace or king to fold out. Perhaps a worse jack. Um, Not certain of that though. Uh, that just got super tight here, and Fede knows I'm a nit, so I don't necessarily think that he will credit me with applying for the steal. Of course, that's going to be a commitment to an actual river bet at that point. If I am a little bit incoherent during this thing here, I am going to chalk it up to lack of sleep. Um, I'll try not to be incoherent, though. Fede, I hope you actually had something on that Jack 6 hard hand, because that's a spot that I think is yeah, relatively interesting. This is just outside of my calling range, Jack 7. I think uh, just for somebody who wants an idea here, I we're already at 15:30. Fede, you are a fucking tank machine. Um, I flat call about 50% and three bet in the 9 to 10% range. So I think a lot of people this is a three bet. Uh, I'm not three betting that. Fede, I want you to note that I will be using my time bank to the minimum 27. Ah, look at you. Look at you there. Look at you. Is Tim inelastic? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think I can just go away there. Pardon me. It is inelastic that I'm looking for. Sizing of the bet doesn't matter in my decision. I think that's the concept. Yeah, it will go away now though. That's always one of those tricky ones for me for the simple fact that that's a huge blind spot to me that I just never give villain credit um, for having, that was paired with threes for having a three. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I guess I am a little bit spaced out at this point. I think I have to flat call you there, sir. At least to basically stop you from three betting me, because I think you're getting a little bit out of line. For you, at least. I think I would be. My tendency would be more. I think that's just outside of typically what I'm calling with. If it was suited, I'm 100% calling with that. But it's one of those hands that if I am getting three bet, great deal. We'll expand into that. I'll stick with 3x here probably until I would get down to 20 big blinds, probably effective. Some players it doesn't matter. I mean, some players are just um, don't really change their strategy depending on my stack. So some players I just continue to do here. Oh, you know what? You can suck a dick, sir. All right. Now with Fede, Donovan, we had this conversation, group conversation. It's got to be months ago, about whether or not changing my bet sizing is the appropriate move to make in terms of this aggression. Um, Usually, I will do so when it's clear the aggression. When I'm at like that initial blinds, I won't, but then I will use basically the change in blind structure, blinds going up. Oh, look at you, sir. Uh, to do that, I think though Fede's putting me in a spot. Well, the blinds changed, so um, I am going to be 2x anyhow when I play 25-50. Well, sir, you at least succeeded in getting me to toss that away for the moment. I probably should add that when I get down to this 15 big blinds, I do change. I do tighten up my opening range, but as you'll see here, I do add some shoves. So the actual number of hands I play shrinks, not terribly. Can't off the top of my head tell you what exactly the range is here, but probably if I go from like opening 70%. So I probably go to opening maybe 55-ish. Um, and that's a hand typically I'm gonna play there. Jack 8. I wonder if you're gonna let me get away with this limp here. I've got some limps mixed into this strategy. I don't think he's gonna allow me to do this. I do have some medium pocket pairs, and if Fede was not Fede, if he was somebody who's super aggressive, um, I probably would mix in for the initial limp. I would probably be mixing in some of the higher pocket pairs. Not a huge fan of that. Look at you, sir. I know your strategy. I got your playbook open, sir. I really gonna have to go back and look at this game because I've gotten myself whittled down to nothing here. Um, I'm gonna have to just take a gander at how Fede's just browbeat me into 5-1 stack advantage on me. Oh, that's funny. I always love that. I always love that non-stack stack shove. So at this point, under 15 big blinds, I'm shoving all ace X under ace 8. This is close, but it's not actually a call. And shoving so all ace X under ace 8. All my king X suited up to. This is debatable. You know what? I'm gonna go with the shove still on this. This is, like I said, this is one of those borderline ones with me here. All my king X up to king 7 suited, and then a lot of the suited connectors. Again, let's see if he's going to let me get in here with one of these. I know he knows what I'm doing here. Homna, 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 homna. Not a very exciting flop for us here. Now, let's take a small stab. Don't think we'll really get away with it. We did. Alright, Fede, I just gotta get lucky here. Which is the wonderful thing of the heads up sit and go format, is you can get destroyed as Fede is doing to me. And yet, you catch one shove and you're in business. You gonna suck out on me, sir? Any suck out? No suck out. See? We're back in business. Fede's done all that work, and now we're back in business. Alright. I will call a shove here, though. That's interesting. Second pair. Say my default play is to do that. That got interesting. Tough decision here. I will call probably up to a 3/4 pot bet here. I think he knows that. It wouldn't be shocked to see an overbet if he bets. No. Well, I'm going to call this. I would like somebody's opinion on there, um, with my nittiness there, whether or not that was a poor decision on me not to take a stab at the turn. There were a couple flush draws on the board there. The club flush, what did come in, right? All right, King Jack. Like I said, we're just on the border here. I would have no problem with just a simple shove. I'm calling. If he shoves over me, I'm calling that. Queen 3, no sir. I will have no part of you. No, you cannot force me to do that. Jack 5. Where am I at in terms of, you know what? Typically it's a Jack 5. Oh, that's interesting. Typically with Jack 5, I might be, because I'm right on the border there of where I'm usually in that 10 or 11 big blinds where I'm not, where I would be just a standard 2x raise there. This is definitely not anything. But the Jack 5 suited is it's a clear Nash shove. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I think it's, how many big blinds here? 14.7. This is a no-brainer. Alright, well, I feel nice that I got through on that one. This is clearly in my area of where I'm sticking with this guy by the name, screen name Mercenary wrote an ebook, and that's the modified table that I'm using at that point there. Like I said, it's typically for me between 10 and 15 big blinds. Let me see something here though. What do we? How much for the rest of you guys here? What do we got? We got 2 minutes before we get up to the 1500. 9, 8. All right, so limping with the 9, 8. Shove. Yeah, interesting. You're never giving me credit. Never giving me credit for the ace. Zero credit. So, I will go away. Well, we're calling the shove here. We're going to get through. We're going to get through. We're going to get through. We didn't get through. C'est la vie. I hope he thinks I'm fired up. I'm tilted up there. I thought I was actually maybe going to beat Fede. I like this hand. Come on. How about me now get through? How about me get through now? You rat bastard. All right. All right, so let's go to game number 2. It is what it is. Wait for this thing to pop up. Find my little thingamajobber there. And hopefully the Bovada software isn't crashing. But you know what? It looks like it might be. And no, we were there. Okay. On to game 2, people. at this. Make sure I'm actually in my little thing there, my little box. A lot of people, I know Donovan's three betting that. I just, it's a hand I don't. If I'm gonna, I like, um, it's a hand like I said that I like plays well post flop here. Uh, just flat calling. I am committed to taking another bullet here. Perhaps I am committed to. Oh, look at you! Look at you, sir. I'm not a fan of that bet size there. Does this at least give you pause? Let's have a thought process here. Unfortunately, my short-term memory is a wee bit on the fuck side at the moment, but if I remember correctly, I don't think it was a pot size bet initially. Um, I tell you what, Fede, what I'm trying to do right now is figure out what Fede would do. 100% with any other opponent, I am laying this down. You, though, sir, are making this very, very difficult on me. Man, my gut instinct with you is to call. But then it's like you're using reverse psychology on me. You know what? I think I can survive a call. Ah, okay. Very well done. Very well done. I will say, with, like I said, any other opponent, I'm I'm history at that point. There's no way that I'm calling. Well, we're going to open up my three betting range a little bit here. It's not a terrible hand to three bet. I don't think he's expecting me to three bet Jack 10 suited. I don't think he's ever seen me three bet Jack 10 suited. Okay, so how, in theory, are we getting this in here? It's connected, right? No. Fede, I thought you were channeling your inner Josh, sir. That's what I thought you were doing. Every bone in my body was screaming, don't do this. All right, so now I'm going to go to 2x. I'm just, especially the aggression you showed in game one. Um, I think it would be a poor decision to be continuing with 3x at this point. So But we're still going to be opening stuff up, though. All is not lost. Of course, at this point, though, you're just going to shove to put me all in. So your three bets are going to be a three bet shove. I would assume that's probably going to be the case here for at least, if I guess if I battle back to 1,000 chips, that may change. No, huh? Oh, this, sir, is very interesting. Okay. I do not like your light three bet there. I do not like it at all. Let's see if we can set up a shove at some other point. Kind of prepare the battle space for getting it in there. Now I know that Fede knows that I'm not just responding to his three bet with my three bet. And I see that so often that people, I three bet somebody and they immediately come back. This, however, we're going to flat. Again, I don't like your I don't think there's enough to go with here. Alright. Mistake the flat there. I'm fairly close to playing that mercenary range here. I think with like a hand like that, if he would have, I'm going to call just standard three bet all the way to a three bet shove. It's interesting though. I'll be curious to know, Fede, what you actually had with both of those hands. I got the gut shot here. A little bit connected. I think I'm potentially going broke with this hand. I don't think I really set this up right, though. I think that was a little bit too big of a bet. 5 changes things a little bit here. I think because I picked up some equity there, that I'm going to shut it down here and give Fede, thinking that Mr. Knit Timothy decided to do. What would you think? You know what? I'm going to give you kind of one of my standard sizings here. Hopefully get you to make a call. Not sure which bet sizing works best, but I think, again, this being Fede, I think he knows kind of some of the bet sizings that I use, so I didn't really want to deviate too much from that. Oh, I did not mean to do that whatsoever. Let's chalk that up to let's just chalk that up to lack of sleep, okay? Random monkey button pushing shit there. So don't make anything out of that at all, okay? But now that I did so, I'm not sure what to do at this point. Oh, I'm not going anywhere, but I'm not really sure what the dynamics of this are. Um, okay. Um, okay. I think that sets it up so I can get the rest of my money in here, right? It does, right? So he's going to be, yeah, a little bit of a over bet on the river. I think he knows I would be a little bit scared this shit was connected here. All right. What a bizarre hand that this plays out to be. Uh, total misclick has got me committing all my fucking chips. Oh, uh, I think I should have been pot sized bet on the turn. Then I don't have to overshove on the river. Again, we're going to chalk that up to my brain running a little bit slower than normal. I would assume that we're at the point here too, perhaps where he is. I very easily think I could have bet on that here. Um, that being said, this is pretty much, you know, these cards hit most of his range, and we did nothing. The five, if anything, it really tightens up that range here. So watch what button you're pushing there, Tim. Well, I think this will make an interesting video, though. I think there are a couple interesting. Even though I misclicked that, again, I think that's an interesting spot to figure out how one's going to play this. You know, being the aggressor out of position, three bet that's somewhat clips there. He's expecting me to make a range bet here. I'm going to decline for the moment here. Oh, look at that. We picked up a little bit of equity. Now folding out the ace and the queen. Ah, rats and bastards. Bovada. Who didn't know that you were going to throw either a jack or a king there? Probably somewhat of a pussy move on me not to bet my 10, but I don't think terrible. Or the pussy move actually was not to see bet there. So many of these opponents, though, that ace high board is a clear. Um, all right, well, I think you give me some credit by putting some of my chips into play here. I think you would 100% expect me with a pair of sevens. Question now is, could I pull off the third bullet here? No, I'm gonna save my chipperoos here just for a shove. Will I get away with showdown? No. Ah, okay, you were absolutely going nowhere. Absolutely going nowhere. So queen 8 suited. You know what? I like to shove here. Go a little bit off topic, but look at that. Suck out. Look at that. Suck out, suck out. Unlucky. Yeah, I see you. That's still not going to get me to call with my 5-4 suited. I hear you, brother. Oh, I almost shoved on that, thinking we were at 50, 100 there for a second. Wow, I really should not actually play for money here until I wake up this afternoon. Perhaps there's some other things I can do to occupy myself. This would be interesting here. Well, I'm not going to tankaroo on you here. Am I going to get there? Come on, suck out one more time. Ah! All right, well, good match, Fede. Well done, sir. I'm going to decline you there, and we're going to call this a